Lina gets like maybe like Shadow Blade Yules or something like that, or the Tusk gets a Shadow Blade himself. So hunting the Nature's Prophet becomes very difficult for MVP if complexities start to get ahead. Like say they use their first 2 or 3 Elder Dragon forms and they kill a couple of towers before MVP really have any method of initiating on that Prophet. It's actually going to become a huge nuisance for them. The one downside to picking Nature's Prophet is obvious, like he can teleport to a lane to try to help, but I think that MVP have the better early killing potential between their heroes. So I think Complexity are going to be looking to just kind of stagnate lanes a bit, make sure they're stable, don't die too much. They can just sit the Nature's Prophet in the jungle if they really want to. It's not really the fastest jungler, but it's not bad either. And what other offlane are they going to be able to put down there that's not just going to die anyway? Like, to me, it just seems like this is actually one of the better heroes that they could have put in the situation.
Okay, and well, the final ban here.
Oh, they think Naga's support.
I guess they do. I mean,
they have to, right?
Yeah. I mean, you'd imagine it's going to be Lina, unless it's going to be the Lina support with the Dazzle combo. I mean, that's a little bit unexpected.
They need a hero that dominates mid against CK.
Oh, let's see what.
And Lina is pretty much that hero.
Let's see what kind of support. Well, yeah, we're imagining to see the support, because I'm sure it's going to be KP on the Naga, because after what he did yesterday, yeah, and it's going to be the Earthshaker picked up now. So, I mean, are we looking at a tri lane or looking at potential dual lanes here from MVP?
I think the heroes need experience very badly. I think it's more likely, like you could potentially have the Dazzle, Shaker, Naga tri-lane, but if it's going to be Nature's Prophet, you're only going to need one hero down there, like just to make sure that the NPA doesn't come in, and then you just say, okay, well, I'm just going to go jungle instead if you're Complexity. So last pick here, I really like Jakiro against this team. Just because, again, really nice to be able to throw an Ice Path when a snowball's coming in, and plus it just makes your push ridiculous, like Liquid Fire. Okay, so it's Enigma.
We've got an Enigma game.
Yeah.
I like it.
So it's another pushing hero.
I like it.
They have a lot of ways to stop Black Hole, though.
Yeah, they do.
They have Fissure, they have Lina Stun, they have Snowball. You can even punch him, BKB, but you have to go in from behind. Like, you have to be behind him so the Black Hole's not going to channel on you. And then you have Naga Song and Net, which goes through BKB. Yeah,
I mean, I guess as you were saying, we were talking about it the other day as well. Enigma's being picked here for the push. The Black Hole's a nice added extra, but this isn't why you're picking up the hero in this situation. You're picking it up to team up with Moon Meander on the Nature's Prophet and take towers, you know, crush the map, make it so Naga hasn't got her own jungle. You know, when we get to the mid game, it's going to be very hard for her to comfortably farm. So we'll see if this works out for Complexity as we get ourselves ready to jump into the game. Worth noting, of course, in these group stages, it's all best of 2 series.
Yep.
And the way scoring system will work is if you win 2-0, you get 3 points for the groups, I believe, and a draw will net both teams 1 point.
Well, I'm curious to see how CoL are going to actually lane this, because I saw the Nature's Prophet pick and I was like, okay, I get this, you know, it makes sense to me. They don't really have the best team at being able to pick you off, but now with an Enigma, Moon Meander is going to have very limited places that he can go, because Enigma is pretty much the jungler, right? Like, he jungles faster than pretty much anyone. So he's going to eat a lot of those camps, and that means that Moon Meander is going to have to find a way to not die in lane and see if he can find anything. But MVP here with the 5-man smoke, pretty common stuff coming out from them. And of course, anytime you've got a Tusk on the lineup, you've got that potential to find these early pickoffs, but for standing on the high ground, it's wisely. Do they want to try and run into it? And they're going to go up here with the snowball with 3, going towards Swindlemelons and the damage as well. Look at it, Complexity are melting. Zizzy's going to go down, Swindlemelon's going to fall as well. It's a double kill for Nuts. That is not how Complexity wanted to start the game there. They were on the high ground as well. They saw MVP coming up, but they just stood there. I guess they felt that they could do something in reaction, but I mean, we saw the snowball, the heal bomb from Dazzle, level 1. When you've got that many allied heroes surrounding the enemy, there was no hope for Complexity there. That was just a disaster. The Light Strike Array lands on 2, and then a 3-man Fissure comes out. As soon as that happens, a fight is auto-lost. The thing I think that threw them off was they didn't actually see the smoke break. That's the problem, because the angle he was standing, we're going to see a bit of a Fissure block here on the fly, so... He didn't have Arctic Burn anyway. He wasn't going to be able to get the rune. But the really important part is, if you don't see the smoke break, you're not actually 100% sure if it's a 5-man. That's the problem, because we saw the smoke break, but they were in fog when the smoke broke, and then they just saw them walking past the tree line, in which case you don't know if it's all 5 or if it's just like 3 or whatever. But I mean, if there's heroes coming, you know, standing there going that deep on your side of the map, I mean, you probably expect, I don't know, it's hard. It's a hard situation to read, I think. It's a very tough situation, yeah. I mean, this is nice early wraparound here from Fly with the Arctic Burn, just trying to, you know, harass Lina back, and that percentage-based damage does a lot. He's got to be careful though, because Febby is here. Why didn't he stun? He had a bit of mercy. I guess so.
QO not wanting to go there. Wanting to focus on the farm in the mid lane. But of course, worth noting as well, the fact that after that 2-0 start, MVP, of course, didn't secure themselves both of the bounty runes as well. So you can hope for a better laning stage to begin with for the side of MVP thanks to that start.
Complexity's team is fairly greedy as well. Like, DK mid, I don't think it's like ultra greedy, but it's not the safest thing in the world. And then you have Enigma jungle and Nature's Prophet. Like, that is some insane greed. So if any team can come back from like an early like 2-0 deficit, it's going to be their kind of heroes because they all farm. They all excel during like these early mid-game pushes where you just try to stop the Naga from getting to critical mass. And I think that Complexity's lineup has a lot of tools at their disposal to be able to bring themselves back into this game.
Indeed, I mean, we're seeing already in the mid lane, Cure having a fantastic time. Swindle Melon's getting low, and he's got, oh, the Dragon Slave bringing Swindle Melon's incredibly low. He's out of regen as well. Is that the, what's he got coming out? He has got the bottle coming out to him, and he's certainly going to need that, as this hasn't been the best of starts for DK here in the mid lane.
It's expected, though. Like, prior to having Bottle, you're just going to take so much harass. I think QO potentially could have even killed him. He has 1 point into Fiery Soul, so his movement speed was actually like 30 or 40 higher than Swindle's. He was just playing it the safe way. Like, maybe he expected the Bottle to be coming out on the Courier, which would have been some next-level awareness. And Fly, gonna deny the rune there from March. Very nicely done.
Just wasting some of the time of Tusk heading out of the lane for that one. And back towards the mid lane again. Febby just sitting here, which... again, it's just going to make Swindle Melons play so carefully. I mean, if he gets caught out by a Fisher, the follow-up damage from Lina as well. He's a pretty tanky hero at 644 HP. It's probably not going to kill him, but nonetheless, it's going to be a lot of damage. And then you look at the bottom lane. KP actually going in on Moon Meander here with the net. They're going to try for it here with a heal bomb thanks to the illusions. Bringing him low, looking for the body block as well. Riptide bringing him down. Moon Meander going himself through the trees. Nuts diving deep for this one. Going to toggle the aggro onto KP.
He's actually stuck in the trees.
He's good. He's good. They've eaten down half the forest. They're going to get him out, but MVP trying to go deep for that one. Doesn't pay off this time.
That was actually some like Bulldog level micro coming out from Moon. That was impressive. He like moved trees into position one at a time and actually just like boxed him in. That was pretty cool. But everything kind of going as expected so far. The CS advantage in mid isn't really too bad. Like, QO is ahead of the DK, but again, that's how it's supposed to be, at least for the first couple of levels. I don't think that Swindle's going to be too upset with how things are going, considering he did end up dying before the creep wave even spawned. And he had to buy a TP, which delayed his bottle even more. So, with that considered, I'd say he's going to be A-okay with the situation, and then they're not really pressuring Moon that much in the bottom lane. Yeah,
the fact that Moon's getting quite a bit, you look at the 2 position ones, and it's favouring Complexity in that sense. Izzy up here on the top lane on his Gyro, pretty much, well, just behind the Enigma in terms of CS. And, I mean, the fact that MVP, you do kind of have to crush your laning stage because you're playing against a team that's got a jungler. And Zafreak at the moment, you know, halfway through level 5, he's going to be hitting that black hole fairly soon if he wants to try and make a play happen with it. So all in all, even though it wasn't the best start for Complexity, they're still finding a lot, and there's going to be a bit of a battle here at the rune. Haste rune picked up by Zafreak, coming in onto QO. Oh, there's a snowball there just in time, but it doesn't matter. QO's still going to go down. There's a nice Fisher from Febby, which might just save March as he runs away. But the hasted Enigma there, coming in just at the right time, and Complexity able to get themselves on the board there with that kill.
I think if you're losing the early game laning phase as MVP, you got to be really scared.
Yeah.
Again, Complexity's lineup is super greed. They have 2 heroes that really just don't do much but farm during the early stages of the game. And you also have a DK. The one thing that Complexity has that does fight pretty much is Gyro. And of course, Enigma once he manages to get level 6. But up until that point, you're pretty much just like a jungle creep, right? You sit in there and you farm. So I'm a little bit concerned for MVP at the moment. They're going to go on mid.
Oh, indeed, with the fish, there's going to be a TP coming in from Wyvern, but he's not going to get there in time to save the DK. We'll get a slow off onto both QO and March. But that is going to be it, and MVP getting away with a clean pick-off there in the mid lane.
It's nice that they rotate like that because there's actually no vision in mid right now for the side of Complexity. They had that sentry down from earlier, so they realized nighttime. That gank is very strong because you can actually snowball from fog, and because they have the high ground ward, right? So they can just go in straight away, and they know that Swindle wouldn't be able to see them. So very nice rotation coming in.
Yes, indeed. I mean, we look at the Enigma, we're going to expect pretty much what the standard mech build this game if they're going to go for this push and grouping up from Zafreak. I'd imagine that's what we're going to see come out. Febby's finding a few levels here in the mid lane. He's managed to find himself up to level 4 as well. But the fact that QO, of course, backing up, making the most of the jungle as well. So in terms of getting everyone a little bit of XP on the team for MVP. It's not going too bad, and KP pretty much having free farm still here on the bottom lane. Still just a little bit behind Zizzy on this Gyro, who seems to be having the edge in this last hitting stage of the game.
I think in this matchup, like, the one thing that's nice that MVP has going for them is March has not really like been zoned out, more or less. Because they're running a jungle and they're very greedy off lane, the support on Fly, he's pretty much had to sit around middle lane because Gyro is their most self-sufficient laner, I think. If he's in a matchup against Tusk or any melee hero, you can harass pretty easily. You're not really going to die in a 1v1. But it also means that the Tusk is going to get a lot of experience. So for MVP, the fact that March is already almost level 6, and it's only 6 minutes into the game, and he has Bottle and TP available, I think that's something they're going to be looking to try to abuse a heck of a lot, especially considering CoL now is actually level 7 and has his Laguna ready.
And CoL, where is he at the moment? Yeah, just still making the rounds around the jungle. Looks like he's going to be opting for, I imagine, the straight-up Yules build here. Going to be looking for those pickoffs across the map. And there will be that point at the game, as you're saying, once he's got the level 6 online, that heroes like the Gyrocopter, if you're able to find yourself against him, with the amount of burst that they've got in tandem with the Earthshaker as well, they should be able to deal with the Gyro before he's able to get that BKB online.
They just kill him instantly. Like, if it's Tusklina, that's a dead Gyro, like 100%. I don't really know what the counterplay to that is for Complexity, because you actually just die so fast that by the time a TP comes out, it's already too late. Like, you're dead. If you see the snowball coming in, you actually just don't live through that at all. Unless for some reason Complexity is able to get in a position where they can stop the Lina from getting her combo off as the snowball's coming in. Which is fairly unlikely considering right now their vision is not in the top.
Oh, here we go, middle lane, the setup with the Fish, Laguna Blade bringing Swindlemelons low. He gets the stun off, but the punch from Febby finishes him off on the back of it. And that's the combo we're talking about there. Doesn't matter if you're DK, still more than enough burst damage to bring you down. Top lane, the push is starting to come out. So Freak coming into the lane with Mumianda, Fly, Zizzy, in fact, the full 4-man here. And they'll look to take this tier 1. Looks like they will get it. Nuts trying to do what he can to bring down these treants. But the tower will inevitably go down, and there's Mumianda there with the final touch as well, getting that bonus gold. And this is pretty much what we're expecting to see from Complexity 8 minutes into the game.
Yeah, very nice early tower coming in. Also puts Zefreak closer to the mech, if that's what he's going to go for. He's kind of pooling gold right now, though, which is a little bit odd. I know he plays Enigma a heck of a lot, so I'm not going to doubt what item he goes for, regardless of whether it's Blink or mech. But with this style of lineup, I think that mech synergizes very well with the team. Just being able to push. Oh, Moon.
Oh, Moon. You didn't want to TP in there. QO just says, well, I'll take that kill. Picks that one up there from the bottom lane. They do have Fly coming in as well. I mean, this is kind of an issue. We saw Complexity. They committed 4 heroes to the top lane, got themselves a tower. Bottom lane, you've just got KP and QO. They're very close on taking a tower themselves anyway, and they also picked up a kill onto the Nature's Prophet as well, so they do get the deny, but still maybe not the trades that Complexity were wanting to take in a game where you're trying to stop this Naga Siren.
Yeah, that was a little bit weird. I'm not sure if, for whatever reason, QO was just in fog or what, but that was definitely an awkward TP, and he gets punished for that pretty hard. They also pop Dragon Form, and they're not really able to get any damage on the tier 1 at all. So MVP realized the game plan of Complexity, and by just teleporting to that middle lane, they force Swindle into using an ulti that might just be considered wasted. And to try to counteract that, they immediately smoke, because they want to try to make use of this Elder Dragon Form. Like, the cooldown's not insane. It's 115 seconds, but you don't want to just pop it and then have nothing happen. It's similar to playing Warlock, dropping your ult, and then not getting a tower.
I mean, again, pretty much, what, 3-4 heroes around this bottom lane, but at the same time, MVP taking this middle tier 1, and you've got Naga, KP continuing to find the farm on this top lane and pressuring the top tower as well. So it's going to be a tier 1 trade here on the top for the mid, but it just seems at the moment Complexity committing a little bit more than MVP. I guess you do have Mumianda taking up some of the XP up here on this top lane. Gyro still finding a relatively good amount of farm. In fact, if we look at the net worth, he's below QO, in fact, who's at the top, thanks to the kills and the pickoffs she's found. 5k on Yelena.
Yeah, this is a little bit weird, actually, that Complexity are kind of getting matched in their push. Because when you have an Enigma on your team and you have a DK, you don't really consider the fact that the enemy team is going to be able to push as fast as you are. And in terms of taking towers, I think for MVP, if you're trading even in towers right now when you have Naga Siren, I think you're actually okay with that. Because Complexity is supposed to actually just snowball super hard and push all your outer 2 towers and kind of make you react to them. But MVP are doing the right thing. They're not kind of falling into this trap where they feel they have to defend their own towers. They're just making sure that they're not losing their towers for nothing.
And here we go, top lane, KP getting the final touch on that one. Extra bit of gold in the jungle. We might see a bit of a fight. March, he's going to pop the snowball here to avoid the damage from the rocket barrage. But the cooldown coming in, Zafreek standing under it, so it will catch onto March. March trying to do what he can, but the Fissure coming out perfectly. The Ice Charge tries to block him off. It doesn't matter. The Tusk is going to go down. QO blows up Zizzy here on the back lines. And now with the Yule Scepter complete, holding Zafreek in place, but now he's in trouble. Winter's Curse coming out for Fly. Echo Slam brings down the Enigma. Mumian has turned up to the fight now, looking for QO with the help of Fly. Fly's getting level. They've got the cold embrace, keeping himself alive. There's a 2-for-2 trade so far, and now with a slow from Swinnermelon's trying to chase down Febby. Febby does get shallow graved up. Dazzle says, I'm out of there. The chase still continues. Swinnermelon's trying to get a touch onto Febby, trying to move in here for the Dragon Tail stun, but it looks like Febby might just be quick enough to get away, and Swinnermelon's will give up on the chase and head back to the tower instead. But what a fight going on there in the jungle. Overall, fairly even trade, 2-for-2. Does slightly give the edge in terms of gold, though, to Complexity.
The other thing, too, is they'll be able to get some nice damage on this tier 1 with that Dragon form.
Oh,
he's going in.
They want to still fight. I mean, March throwing out the Ice Charge, pushing Fly back. Now, Fly can't really turn to the fight. Did get the cold embrace off to buy Swinnermelon sometime, and he does just have enough mana to turn around with a stun. And March, does he want to go for this? Throwing the Ice Shards out. Is he going to head up to the high ground? Nah, he doesn't want to go up. Zafreek is indeed there. And, well, at the same time, though, Naga was up at the top, still creating a bit of a issue with the illusions. You look at the top tier 2, already sitting at a, well, much lower than 50% HP, and KP certainly making things happen around the map. We're only 12 minutes in, and on top of his arcane boots and Poor Man's Shield, he has got 2.5k gold, so certainly closing in on that relic.
Complexity just aren't doing enough right now. Their team actually needs to be getting more out of the map than what they are currently getting, because if you look at Febby, he's got arcanes and 1900 gold. It's 12 minutes in.
Yeah.
This is a position 4 Shaker. How does he actually have this much? The fact that he's going to have his Blink Dagger before a single tier 2, or excuse me, before the last tier 1 on MVP side of the map is dead, that's a disaster for Complexity. Like, their hero composition, they are not meant to be able to deal with something like a Blink Shaker this early on. Like, that's not supposed to happen until basically you're trying to go high ground, right? Like 25 plus minutes in. You want to delay that Blink Dagger as long as humanly possible. MVP, they continue to surprise me at how well they know the hero matchups and how their lineup is supposed to function against this, and they're going to try to go in here on Swindle.
I mean, here we go. There's double damage on this Tuster. The punch is going to hurt. No, it's not. He's got Cold Embrace here on Swindlemelon's head, protect him up, but the 2-man Light Strike array. Now March getting stunned up here by the Malefice, chasing him down, getting very low, will fall. They get the Tusker, and there's your Black Hole. Screw you, Dazzle. He wants to screw nuts, and he certainly will. Goes down. They do find a second pick off here, Complexity, with the Black Hole committed. I mean, they're going to need to find a little bit more off the back of that, and it looks like they will here. Moving in onto the tier 1, no fortification available, and with 2 heroes down, Complexity should be able to find a bit of momentum. Now with the Winter's Curse on QO, he's got a little bit too close. Zizzy chasing down here with the Rocket Barrage, and the Malefice holding him in place. There's going to be a Yule Scepter. It doesn't matter, as he'll still fall. Swindlemelon's picking up the kill. They'll take the tier 1 as well, and 3 heroes on the side of MVP, falling a tower as well. Complexity going to be very happy with that. Looking at the fiery cap, only showing that final kill, but still giving us a bit of a taste of the swing that Complexity were able to find from that engagement.
They actually needed that so bad. March is going in so far.
Oh, they've got a Blink Echo Slam, the surprise Blink, but it hasn't brought them down. They're just a little bit too tanky. Febby getting the Fissure off, really trying to find this, but Swindlemelon just turns around with a fire, takes down the Tusk. There's going to be a Shallow Grave on Febby as he gets himself back out of the fight, but that's essentially a 4th kill within a minute that MVP are throwing away against Complexity. And Complexity, they don't lose anything from that. That was an incredible trade there for the side of the Dire.
And that was the first showing of the Blink Dagger. A lot of times you get like this free initiation when you go in with the Blink and the enemy team isn't expecting it, because it's 14 minutes in. Who's going to expect Febby to have Arcane's Blink on position 4 Shaker at this early stage? So I think what ended up happening there is the Echo Slam hit, obviously, but the Aftershock didn't stun Swindle. So he was able to use Dragon Tail to stop the cast animation of the Fissure before the rest of the combo actually came out. So instead of just stun locking them both, he only actually stunned one. And then he gets stunned and it ends up getting turned around. So that was kind of like 2 mistakes that happened back to back for MVP. Definitely not the best situation for them, but this entire time KP is left completely alone.
Exactly.
He's got his relic pretty much.
Yeah.
He's got the money for it right now. So maybe still a little bit concerning for Complexity, but at the very least, the couple of engagements that we saw most recently have gone very favorably for them, so I think they'll be feeling a little bit more comfortable.
This is pretty good timing as well here for the Nature's Prophet, Moon. He's going to have the Orchid very, very shortly. So we've got around the 16-minute mark by the looks of it, so not bad at all here for the Nature's Prophet. We'll see what he's able to do with that one across the map, but as you said, yeah, KP has the relic on its way, and 15 minutes in, that's not too bad of a timing at all.
Yeah, he's going to have his Radiance probably before 20 minutes. That would be my guess. He always knows how to push the hero because every single time he sees Complexity out on the map anywhere, he's like hitting a tier 2 tower, for example. Like the tier 2 safe lane's almost dead, 450 HP right now. So he definitely understands his limits, and when you have a player like that on a Naga Siren, you have to be very, very cautious if you're Complexity taking it into the later stages, even with something like an Orchid at your disposal. But MVP, they got the smoke.
Needs to be careful which way he goes. He's going to get caught out here. Everything getting thrown down. The Laguna Blade as well. Then find a kill. Let's see if Complexity can find anything in return. March actually trapped up here by his own ice shards. Tusk is going to go down, so they do get the trade. And not necessarily bad trade. It's putting Moon Meander on a killing spree and taking down this Tusk, who did have a pretty healthy time at the beginning of the game in that offlane.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, I guess. The one thing about Complexity right now is if they want to, well, actually, I think they're just going to go for a rush sneak, which is a great play. Because if you look at the warding on the map, they can actually see MVP. They saw the Naga Siren a little bit ago. They say 2 people top, and with the ward and the creeps, they can see Nuts mid. So they realize that this is not going to be contested at all. This is actually a really nice move. And the other thing, too, is they just kill Enigma. So it becomes even less likely that MVP would expect a move like that, considering they just lost a hero. So now, Complexity, they get the Aegis for free. It's going to be on Ziz, and Shadowblade is now done on Melon. So now they have a way to actually jump in without being seen, which is pretty important when you're playing up against these styles of teams. If he finds like the Shaker in the back, or he finds like even Naga just pushing a lane, they can TP with the Nature's Prophet and just kill.
They can do indeed. Fly maybe needing to be a little bit careful in the mid lane, because there we go, straight up with the Echo Sound. They want to blow this man up. No chance for Cold Embracer or anything. Not that it's going to help you against the magical damage of these two. And that's a quick and easy pick off there for Phoenix, and a nice bit of gold. And XP swinging their way as well. And he's going to find Moon Meander here. He's still got this Laguna Blade a little bit low on the mana. He's going to need some bottle charges. Or hey, doesn't even need it. There's a snowball coming in as well. Moon Meander's going to get Wars punched out 6-3. He's looking for a black hole. He's thinking about it. He has got the mana to do so. The cooldown slow will connect. Is he going to move in for this one? Maybe doesn't even need it, because Swindlemelons, he's found Febby, the Song of the Siren coming through. Febby and March will simply TP themselves away. KP as well. And that Song essentially saving all 3 of their lives there.
That's actually just like the punch in the gut, right? It's like, okay, you're going to try to get a couple of kills. Just kidding. I'm going to sing you the song with my people, and then everyone's just going to casually walk it off. And we talked about the pre-20-minute Radiance. It is out right now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's Naga Siren 18-minute Radiance with Bottle and Arcane Boots. So KP continues to farm at a pretty insane rate in this game. And Complexity, they need to do more. Like, yeah, your Nature's Prophet is going to transition pretty well into the late game. You'll be able to do your fair share of ratting, but you don't buy an Orchid to continually AFK farm, you know? I think you really want Swindle to try to look for some picks. When you have Shadowblade, he's even got a Haste Rune. If he wants to pop it up, he can look for somebody and just try to go for a few quick picks, because the more you pressure KP and keep him on your side of the map, the more work your Nature's Prophet can actually do. And they still have yet to damage any of the tier 2 towers, whereas Complexity are actually at a tower deficit as they lost their tier 2 in the safe lane. So they still got a bit of work ahead of them, but it's still anyone's game.
Indeed, and I think the graph certainly shows that as well. Up and down through these earlier stages. At the moment, pretty much sitting bang at 0. But you've got to expect with a Naga, unless you're able to do a lot against the side, that difference in terms of gold at least is going to start to skyrocket because of the Radiance.
Yeah, middle lane, I think we could potentially see some action here. The rest of Complexity are in the area. There's a Shadowblade here on Swindle.
And here we go, sneaking in, no detection out at the moment, so he's going to be able to get the jump. He's going to go for Febby straight away, blowing him up here with the Nature's Wrath, but it doesn't matter, the Snowball coming through, and the Shallow Grave, Winter's Curse coming down, holding them in place perfectly under the cooldown, will bring down March and Febby, double kill for Zizzy, and that's going to be that. So all in all, incredibly nice Winter's Curse there, enabling them to get those kills, regardless of the Snowballs and the Shallow Graves being thrown about.
Yeah, that was a really nice couple of picks there, especially considering they caught him when Echo was down. So Echo came up like as Febby was dead, more or less, so he didn't really have any counterplay to what happened. And the Grave and the Snowball kind of overlapped each other. I think that was a bit of a mistake. I know March just wanted to save him, right? Like, he saw Nuts over there, but he wasn't sure if the Grave was going to be in time or not, but he had ample opportunities to be able to throw it out there. So Complexity going to be able to get a tier 2 off of this, no big deal. They still have, wait, they still have their Aegis, right? No, they don't. Okay. Yeah, okay, never mind. I lost it earlier. I don't know. Apparently I was not watching that. But for now, Complexity, they've done a pretty good amount of work in the last couple of minutes. You know, getting the Roshan Snake after Enigma die and then continually pushing, finding 2 more picks. They're doing what they need to do, which is nice to see, because every single time I see Naga Siren with Radiance up at this early stage, you just have to always remember the fact that the enemy team playing against Naga, they can never stop. I
mean, look at this. Just with these illusions. Goodbye, creep wave. It's going to be so hard for Complexity to regain this momentum, which they desperately need with this kind of pushing lineup. The Naga at the moment just becoming a huge issue for the side. QO trying to move in, seeing if they can catch out Zizzy here under the cover of smoke. Not going to be the case. And maybe towards the mid lane is going to be the focus here. Swindlemelon's on his own here at the moment with the defense. And MVP just standing up in the jungle. We've got these wards up here from the Radiant, so they've got fairly good vision of both the top and the middle lane. And we'll see what the next move is here from MVP. Maybe waiting to see if anyone does come out to try and farm out behind this tier 2 in the mid lane.
Well, the problem with sitting in the jungle like this is your bottom lane is just going to die. Like, yeah, you got your Radiance Naga Siren down there. She'll be able to get the deny on the tower, but the tower being dead, I think, is more important than actually getting the gold for it for now. Just because, again, you have that Prophet. He needs the room to work. The more towers that go down, the more of the lane game you can actually play. And MVP have a limited amount of smokes that they can do, right? Whereas you have Swindlemelon with Shadowblade, and you have a Nature's Prophet who can TP anywhere. Or, excuse me, Silver Edge now, as he just upgrades it. But
and look at this, I mean, MVP, they're looking for the Nature's Prophet, wondering if he's hiding around these tree lines. And essentially time wasted, because Moon Meander's chilling down here, will reveal himself now. And yeah, the pings come out. They know there's no MP. And MVP maybe, I mean, at this point, do they have the power and what it takes to try and push up to the high ground here on the top lane?
I don't think so. I think they have a much better chance trying to play... Like, they're trying to be proactive out on the map because they want the Naga Siren to have more room to continually push lanes. So when you're forcing fights, it means that KP can just send illusions to other lanes like mid and bottom and just make sure that they're continually pushed out. But Moon Meander is like dealing with that in a great way. He's just always making sure that he's pushing lanes as well, and he's trying not to be in the same place as the Naga Siren at any point in time. So if Naga's pushing one lane, he's in the other lane pushing that, making sure that there's never 2 lanes going in favor of MVP, because when that happens, then all you have to do is push the one lane that's not pushed, and then you have a situation where 3 lanes are constantly in front of your base, and then you have to be like stuck inside and hope that you can smoke out and maybe kill, or, you know, MVP are going to have full map control in that situation. So Complexity are doing a nice job at the moment, and they're also looking for potentially a fight. And this is another haste turn on Melons, by the way.
Oh, he's got the Silver Edge complete here as well. Moving in, and QO kind of left behind here by the side. And he's going to get caught out. No, the Yule's actually buying him some time. Winter's Curse to hold him in place. Swindlemelon's trying to do what he can, but it might be MVP trying to turn this one around. Cold Embrace from Swindlemelon's helping him out. ZZ actually moving in here, but the burst damage coming out from QO. The Echo Sound from Femi holding him in place, but they're going to lose Zizzy here. So 1-for-1 so far. KP trying to go to work on Swindlemelon's. He's just a little bit too tanky at the moment. Will turn around, bring down March. There's your Song of Your People as KP waltzes out of this one. They'll be able to keep the Earthshaker and the Dazzle alive, but they've already lost both the Tusk and Alina. Swindlemelon's actually moving in here, and Nuts is going to be able to TP out in the sideline. But it looks like Complexity will take that favorable trade and turn it into a bit of a push here and apply a bit of pressure here to this tier 2 with the remainder of the Elder Dragonfall.
Now that Echo was almost the dream. Like they almost turned it around with that, so Febby was very on point. But again, Winter's Curse showing how powerful it can be. Fly doesn't have to really stand anywhere near the team fight. As long as he sees an opening for it, he just throws it out, and that sets up a DK stun. And sometimes it can even set up a black hole, depending on how good the ult actually is. And once he gets up BKB, there's only going to be one way to interrupt black hole, and that's going to be a punch. And Melons, he's going to get a stun here, but he will not get hit by the enchant.
Trying to chase him. They have got this gem, of course, on Febby, but yeah, he's just a little bit too speedy, getting himself out of there. Still, though, the other lanes, Complexity have got a lot of work to do in terms of pushing these back out. But the fact that they have still got these tier 2s here means that essentially you are just pushing the lanes in, and Zizzy, of course, will be able to clean those up. And he certainly needs to, falling behind a little bit in terms of farm compared to the Naga, of course. But other than the Naga, pretty much everyone around this 9k, 11k Moon Meander with a bit of an edge with the amount of farm he's managed to find. Level 2 Necro, and half the way through picking up his final recipe to get that level 3 Necro. And as you were saying earlier, we are at this point where all the tier 2s down on the Radiant side, so they have got to be careful about these lanes because the wrap potential is always going to be there thanks to Moon.
Yeah, but it's kind of like it's fighting fire with fire, right? That's pretty much the term we can use to describe the Naga Siren versus the Nature's Prophet matchup. The one difference, though, is that Naga Siren will usually win out in the end, just because of how illusions work and how difficult it is to deal with illusions being sent to multiple places at once. ultimately Nature's Prophet can only be in one place, and the Treants do not push as fast as a Naga Siren Illusion. Just the Radiance Burn in of itself already pushes faster than a tree. So with that in mind, you always need to make sure that you're trying to do a little bit more than just push out a lane, and I think that's why Moon decided to go for Orchid, because he wants to be able to contribute in fights, and having a Necro Book just means that if Complexity get to base, they'll have that extra little bit of oomph to potentially just take the tower and open up a set of racks, because when that happens, then Nature's Prophet becomes extremely annoying, and sometimes you can even just get free damage on the base, even if another lane besides the one they are actually in is being pushed, because as long as backdoor protection is disabled, you can actually harass the base. So Complexity now looking for something here. Roshan has respawned.
Yeah, MVP did smoke up from, in fact, Complexity's jungle, moving back towards their own, seeing if they can find anything with this smoke, but Swindlemelon's playing it safe at the moment, keeping himself hidden behind the tree line. Does need to be careful, of course, walking around with a silver edge, as Febby is about with that detection with the gem. And yeah, as you said, Roshan, this is going to be pretty much the point of contention for these two teams now, and we're seeing pretty much everybody down here. Smoke up, in fact, from Complexity, leading the charge, Swindlemelons, with the Invis on the silver edge. And if they can catch out Nuts here, it's going to be a nice quick pick up if they can kill him before he gets everything off, and they will. That's going to be your Dazzle down for this fight. March moving in, the Maleficent coming out. Mech has been popped, but the Winter's Curse there, holding him in place. Swindlemelon's moving in. He's got a Dragon Tail if he needs to, but he's actually going to look for more. He wants to find KP. Moomiander actually round the back, scouting out the Naga Siren. Q is going to go down here. Moomiander will fall. KP is actually going to live for the time being, trying to get himself out. He has got Febby there with a Fissure, still with an Echo Slam available as well, but it looks like Febby, he's holding onto the Fissure, but it comes out a little bit too late. Febby's not actually able to save KP. KP will fall. Now it's Febby who's in a bit of trouble himself. The Starting Complexity going up. He gets off an Echo Slam, but it's more of a ceremonial one as they take his life. Complexity. 4-for-1 trade. Moomiander being the only sacrificial lamb. And what a play there from Complexity. And it just kind of seemed that MVP were holding on to spells and they just didn't want to use them.
That entire time, that Nuts was getting blocked by trees. Like, Moon was body blocking him so hard when he was trying to run away. Swindle was able to get in range for a stun. And then there were just a slew of mechanical mistakes coming out from MVP. First, March snowballs too far away from the Dazzle to put him inside of it. So Dazzle just dies. Then because the Dazzle is dead, and there's no two people in the snowball, it automatically means that there's no grave when the snowball ends, which means that March is now out of position and also dies. And then after that, the Naga Siren trades her life for a Nature's Prophet, cancels her song before she even casts it. Like, she was mid-animation and decided to not cast the song at all. Maybe he thought he wasn't going to get it off, I don't know. But, like, a lot of mistakes in a row basically lost MVP that fight without the use of Black Hole.
Yeah.
So now, Complexity, they got another Aegis. They got Black Hole. That was a total disaster for MVP.
And I want to have a look at the graphs now after that. How are we starting to swim? Well, that's just Complexity getting more and more in the lead at each of these fights. I mean, you look at the dot, this is a lot of kills for Complexity and not a lot for MVP. I think the last, we saw them take one pick off, of course, on Moomiander there. But before that, it was a good pretty much 12 minutes or so ago that they were able to find any kind of pick off against Complexity. So it's certainly getting scarier for MVP, but at the same time, they do, of course, still have that Naga sitting at the top of the net worth board, and with a Manta style complete and the money racking up on top of the bot's Radiance as well. So Octarine will be almost certainly the next item of choice, and she's not too far away from it.
The one thing that MVP can take solace in is even if you are like 10, 15,000 gold behind, well, first off, they won a game where they were that far behind yesterday, and second, it was a Naga game. So if you have Naga Siren and you have like a 10,000 gold and experience deficit, the game still is not over. That's just the kind of strength that the hero brings to the table. Unfortunately for them, Complexity actually have an extremely good team at going high ground, so this game is going to be harder to recover from than the match that we saw them playing yesterday up against Archon, where they weren't able to quite as easily go high ground. Whereas with Dragon Form, a Book 3, an Enigma, I think that Complexity can break high ground with that kind of push.
Definitely, especially if they can do it off the back of a fight like the fights that they've been finding so far. It's going to be very hard for MVP to do anything in response. And I don't know if we've noted this, but Enigma with a completed BKB as well on top of the mech, so he is going to be able to get out those songs, sorry, not the songs, the black holes pretty reliably in these fights. And in fact, is there anything that can cancel him?
Yeah, punch.
Punch.
Yeah, but it's very hard to land that punch because you have to walk in from a very specific angle to not get hit by the black hole itself.
Oh, he gets himself out as a freak, not quite able to find the Maleficent there.
Yeah, it's a good thing he didn't die. I mean, they did lose the gem before, So that's a little bit of a bummer. They had a book 3 anyway, so I guess like the gem, like losing it is bad because then you can't get map control back for a while unless you want to buy mass sentries, and plus like the investment of the gem in the first place is pretty expensive. But Complexity had a book anyway. I think they were going to be pretty okay in terms of like making sure they were de-warding.
I just had a thought as well, of course. There'll be the net as well from Naga, essentially.
Oh, yeah, net as well. Yeah, you're right.
Which it's got pretty fairly good range. So I guess to be fair, using the Black Hole at this point, because of that, you're probably looking to catch the Naga in the Black Hole.
Yeah, I think it's the safest hero to catch. And that's going to be a Vlad's for Moon, so they want to end the game. Like, you don't buy Vlad's on Nature's Prophet, a hero who can farm at a ridiculous rate, unless you know that you're going to be able to just end it. Like, typically, it's... if you buy an item that's that cheap, there's 2 reasons. 1, you're going to 5-man. 2, you need to have an item that's going to be effective for you at that stage, and you cannot afford to wait to buy anything. And it's definitely not the latter in this case. So he needs to make sure that he has Vlad's for his team when they want to push at high ground with the Aegis. So when the next time they have the opportunity, it's just going to end. Because otherwise, the hero farms so fast that sometimes buying like a 2,300 gold item just isn't worth it, because you're going to replace it, right? Because you just get that gold income and you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to sell my Vlad's, buy something else. So this says to me that Complexity do not want to let this game go on any longer.
And QO applying a bit of pressure here on the top lane. He's got the backup of both KP and Febby. So they're going to look for a push here on this top tier 3. But at the same time, Complexity, they're looking at the tier 3 in the mid lane. And also Moon Meander pushing in the bottom lane. Looks like it's going to force some TPs back from MVP. Realizing they do need to be on the defensive here if they want to stop this. Zizzy tanking up the tower, but he has got that Aegis still ready to pop. And, well, Swinnerman is actually trapped up here as well. The armor ticking down because of that weave, getting pretty low. Cold Embrace from the low ground from Fly. And just allowing him to sustain this push. Whoa, straight away there. Blowing up the Winter Wyvern. Moon Meander getting the silence out to QO, and March isn't going to snowball forward, just snowballing into the creep wave there. So after losing Fly, realizing they don't want to stick around, they do find the tier 3 in the mid lane, get a bit of damage onto the tier 3 at the bottom. But top lane, they lost to tier 3 themselves, and a bit of damage actually done to the racks themselves by MVP in that push.
KP is playing this very well. Like, he's only died once this game. It's 33 minutes. And he knows that, okay, if I fight and we lose that fight, the game is just straight up over. And I mean, that's Octarine done now on this Naga Siren. And we've also managed to secure some Guardian Greaves up on the Tusk. I think that this stage of the game is the most crucial for Complexity. They need to make sure that Moon Meander is on top of his split pushing game. He needs to keep those lanes out, because if you trade racks for racks, it could end up in one of those crazy base race games that we saw actually multiple times yesterday. And you don't want to put yourself in that spot, especially when you're playing from ahead. I still think the Complexity have a pretty decent lead right now. It's like 7,500 gold. The experience is the prime indicator of how well they've been doing in team fights on top of that.
It certainly is. It's quite a different, but as you said, we did see a swing back from MVP with a Naga yesterday.
Yeah.
Albeit this is going to be a bit of a bigger game to swing back from, because Complexity certainly looking very good at this point of the game. It is just this Naga Siren they're going to be worried about. MVP, they want to try and swing this background in their favor. Smoking up towards the mid lane, picking up Swinnerman. This is going to be pretty nice if they can do it. And straight away with those stuns and the burst from the Laguna. Nowhere for the Dragon Knight to run. And that is DK down for a full minute. And he is 500 gold short of a buyback.
That's actually really bad, because now they're going to lose this tier 2 for sure. If they let the creeps go to base, like if they kill this tower, they'll probably let the lane push in, and then they'll just try to run top and deal some more damage to the range racks. That's like the safest bet, right? Actually, KP's already doing that. Yeah, he's actually walking straight top. He just wants to hit the range racks.
Zizzy's going to be there trying to clear the illusions out. Actually going to opt for the tier 2 here on the bottom lane, the rest of MVP. Okay, so
it's a bit of a safer play.
Yeah.
But they might think that DK has buyback too, which could be why they're opting to go for the tier 2s. Now, I think forcing the buyback might have been better, just because if the DK buys back and you have Song, you know you can just bail. Like, no one besides Enigma has BKB, right? So if you just Song, you're pretty much guaranteeing the fact that you can get away. I'm a bit surprised they didn't actually try to pressure a bit. Maybe they thought that by sending KP top, they would force the buyback, but unfortunately that was not the case. I will say, though, that having all the tier 2s down with an Naga Siren in your team is still very good. So it could be seen as a safe play and a play for the later stages in the game, when we also talked about earlier the Nature's Prophet and the strength of having the base exposed. Same thing applies to Naga. Any hero that wants to rat, and they're going to catch out Moon here inside of the woods. Moon
is being ratted out. He's going to try and get a bit of damage onto QO, but not enough. Looks for the teleport now. It's not going to happen. That is going to be They're getting taken down, and the Necros to fall as well. A bit more gold there for Lena in the bank. Jara has now picked up the MKB, so in terms of defending from the high ground, you look at Complexity's lineup, and it's pretty damn good.
Yeah. I think right now Complexity, if it's a 5v5 engagement, I don't know if they can actually like wipe them because of Naga and how Naga Siren Song actually functions in a fight, but they can win the fight for sure. Like, I think their team composition at this stage is so much stronger because the Tusk is starting to fall off a bit. Like, his damage really isn't threatening. He does have Guardians, but they're more reliant on like QO and KP to make sure they carry the team fights. Obviously, Echo is going to be important as well. But you're not going to find like a full-fledged 5-man fight in this game, I feel. Like, one hero from each team is always going to be in a different spot. Like, you're going to have Nature's Prophet from Complexity, and you're going to have KP playing the Naga from MVP just being somewhere else. Like, I don't see much reason for either of those heroes to commit to a 5-man. If anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Moon. Because Moon knows that his team is strong in a 5-man. But KP doesn't want to fight. He's like, I just want to play the lane game. And it's working because he's got like a 9,000 net worth lead and the next like richest hero in the game.
Oh, the Skadi complete as well on K. It's looking pretty nasty, this Naga Siren.
Like, if they win this game, it's because KP is going to carry them.
Yeah.
Like, that's how they're going to win.
Indeed. Let's see what Complexity are ready to do about it. They're making a bit of a bold move here. 4 of them coming out of the base. 3 smoked up. Looking for a bit of a Swindle Melons bait. And, well, obviously last time, you know, the side of MVP, they did pick up Swindle Melons in a similar situation when he was on his own. So maybe Complexity trying to use that to catch them out this time. But it looks like MVP aren't falling for it. There's no intention of smoking up and going for Swindles. So the smoke's going to be in vain. They're going to try and follow it around here with Swindle Melons and his Silver Edge. And, I mean, now Nuts and Febby around this mid lane, but still just playing ever so carefully to ensure that they don't get caught out by the rotations of Complexity.
They're kind of getting a bit impatient, I feel. They say, okay, well, our lanes are being pushed in. Every single one of them is across the river. And again, this is Naga Siren. Even a Nature's Prophet cannot keep up with a Naga Siren split push because you can only be in one place at a time. Naga can be in like 4.
Oh, Febby, yeah, he wants to go for it straight onto Swindle Melons. The Freak is there with the Black Hole of Febby. He's actually going to BKB up, even thinking about doing so. But already, Swindle Melons incredibly low, can't really commit. And there's your Black Hole. It's only going to be onto 1 onto Febby. Can they even bring him down? I don't know if they can, because Dazzle's down the sidelines. With the Shallow Grave, there's going to be Winter's Curse thrown out, but they've already lost Swindle Melons. The fight is going off left, right, and center. In fact, let's look at KP, because he's the focus. Can they kill him? No, they can't. He gets off the Song of the Siren. And they're just going to think about regrouping on this one. Zizzy is there, March and QO looking at it, but it looks like they're simply going to back themselves off. Happy with the pick off onto Swindle Melons. They get the kill onto the DK, they get the BKB and the Black Hole used by Enigma. So all in all, a very nice win there for MVP.
I can't believe they're getting away with this. Like, it was a bit awkward for Complexity that they managed to walk into the one team fight that Naga was actually there for. Like, I think there's been 2 times this game where KP has been present at a fight for a song and then walked away. Once at the bottom river and then once mid. With that team fight win, knowing that there's no Black Hole, MVP are going to get Roche. This is actually really, really bad for Complexity now because that Roshan was supposed to be their ticket to high ground. You know, that's Roshan number 3, like you mentioned, with Cheese. So if Complexity get that, they could actually threaten high ground. And then you can look to even try to go like YOLO Throne, for example, if the Naga Siren is still split pushing you while you're trying to take the enemy base, which she probably would be in this game. So the fact that they take it away from Complexity is massive. Like, even though they were at such a huge deficit, again, the Naga Siren, man, this hero, it could just straight up win them the game.
Yeah, just these lanes, it's almost... What a hero. I mean, when you get to this point, I guess you kind of deserve it, because KP's performance
he's played amazing.
On point.
Yeah.
He's deserved to get this hero to this point. It's... Oh, Cure. That's what he's going to go for. He's not going to... He's going to call the
he doesn't have a team here.
And Qo... I think he's a little bit dead. There is some rotations coming in. He's got the Aegis here. But do MVP really want to try and save the lead out? I don't think they do. I think they say QO. Are we just going to let you... The song came in, but it wasn't in range. So the song a little bit... And now March. March is getting caught out by the Winter's Curse. He's going to snowball trying to get himself out. Swindle Melons making sure that no kind of backup comes in. And that's going to be March falling as well on the Tusk. And Swindle Melons, he might even find more here. Moving in, looking for Nuts. Nuts going to look for the TP, but there's a stun. And it's going to come out. Nuts caught out here in the tree line. He's going to fall as well. That's 3 heroes going down in MVP in a series. What the heck was going on?
I don't know. I think QO was overconfident because he had Aegis, and he's like, okay, look, I'm just going to chill here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the Naga's going to be split pushing, but I think Complexity can just throne. I mean, there's 30 seconds left on 2 of the heroes, but maybe they don't throw. Maybe they just deal a bit of damage and then just leave. They could look to trade. But the Naga Siren's actually pushing at a comparable speed to what Complexity are doing. So Complexity are going to go for the double racks. No one's bought back, so they know that buybacks aren't available, but this tier 3 was very low earlier from when Moon Meander was split pushing with this team.
Well, they're going to look for QA moving forward here with the cooldown.
My God, no
this
way.
Lina is going to die. He's down. He does have buyback available here. Complexity turning back to the racks, and Lina does indeed buy back in this situation. KP is going to find a tier 3 here in the mid lane, and Complexity might even back up here. Are they going to double back in for this one? No, they're going to start to TP back here to get the defense on. Zizzy coming back along with Fly. KP's not able to find a second set of racks here, so just get the one. Might even be in trouble here. KP now he's got the song available. He should be fine. Oh, it's a free.
Oh, the net!
The net came out, was thrown in the air at the same time as Black Hole was cast, lands on the Enigma, stopping the animation, and KP now with the song, moving back in towards these guys.
His team's coming.
Is he going to try and turn this?
There's no Black Hole, his team's here.
I mean, Kyo moving in. The fish are catching out Mumianda. There we go. The cold embrace just in time, keeping the Nature's Prophet alive. QO will be able to back up, and MVP won't find anything from that one. But oh, maybe they will. Febby going in. They want that Nature's Prophet. They're going to get him. Mumianda down for 70 seconds. Buyback indeed. 660 gold short at this point in time. And now it's MVP that are ready to look for more out of the basic Complexity. Of course, Naga took the top set of racks. They're going to look for the second set. They have lost 2 sets of racks themselves, so this is going to make the playing board a little bit more even. Swindle Melons, can they do anything? And March going forward incredibly aggressively. He's a free going forward. He goes in with the black hole. Oh, he's getting all of them, and they're going to lose KP as well. 3 heroes falling on MVP. March to go down as well. The defense was certainly there. And Andy, what happened? I thought you already used that. So it was cancelled before it actually counted as the cooldown costing.
I thought he used it.
I thought he used it. I swear the animation came out. I
did too, dude. I definitely saw the animation.
What the hell is going on?
I don't know what just
that must be something with that item. Yeah.
That was really weird.
Definitely the animation came out, which should count as it being used, shouldn't it? Because it was cancelled. It was there, and then the net cancelled it.
The net was midair when the cast came out.
What?
And then I don't know what just happened.
Well,
I actually, all right, Ice Frog, please. Well. Either way, Complexity with a gigantic base defense.
Okay, well, back to the game. Let's see what they can do here. Buyback.
Oh, he had a refresher. He has a refresher on the courier, that's why.
Oh, he's on the courier. The secret refresher.
Whatever.
Oh, it's a freak there with the secret refreshing plays. And now at the back of that,
he didn't show it.
That's amazing. That is incredible. He caught them off guard. They did not expect that black hole then. And off the back of it, Complexity, they take mega creeps. What a genius.
That was actually insane.
That was insane. What? We did not know. What? I mean, they do lose the gyro here, but they mega creep the base. I did a play after play coming out here. Both teams going for it. Fly's going to lose his life in the mid lane. Swindleman, as I said, there's a free coming in. He's going to look for QO here. Swindleman's trying to chase this one down. Buyback's coming out from both Gyro and the Winter Wyvern. It's Swindleman standing there, taking the damage here from Nuts and QO as they're going absolutely crazy. Enigma will buy back to get himself in the fight. They're trying to bring down this DK. Well, they just can't. He's just turning up tanky. Now March coming in to help him out. Swindleman is getting low, and he will fall. He does have buyback, though. He's going to use it straight away. What is the plan here from the team? They're sitting in the base at the moment. Where they're going to TP out to. Actually TPing out towards Roshan. Maybe that's going to be the idea, but it's not up at the moment. This game, I'm still impressed by that surprise refresher orb.
Yeah, I don't think MVP were actually thinking about that at all. I mean, it's 43 minutes in. If you look at Enigma's items, he seems pretty poor, right?
So you would assume him to have something.
Complexity, they've been doing very well this game. Like Z-Freak especially, like he's 5-3 and 13. He's been farming pretty much the entire game. So to expect him to only have this much, I mean, it's one of those things where it's not intuitive when you're actually in the game sometimes, and you just don't really pay that much attention. No. But it's a good play. It's the same reason why you hide stuff like Shadow Amulet before you make Shadow Blade, because you want to have that element of surprise, right? Like the enemy team is not expecting you to have an item at that point. Moon's going to get picked off in the bottom lane.
Okay.
So he does trade his life, but I mean, this is Megas. Yeah, it's the Naga Siren split push does not do enough against Megas, and the Naga Siren's still dead for 10 seconds, which means that MVP could potentially be giving up game one.
Okay, Febby coming in with the Echo Slam. Moomy and Zizzy going to be the target. Zizzy has got that Satanic available though, and they might be able to turn this one around. It looks like they're going to try it. They lose Moon here, but now Zizzy going in towards March. He has put the Satanic and healing back up. There's a black hole, and I think it might be a game-ending black hole as well as now. The H is exposed. Complexity going to work. Can MVP defend? This is going to be the song. Setting this one up. What can they do at the back of this Febby? He's moving it, but he of course hasn't got the Echo Slam. They have got the chain stuns. Zizzy getting low. He's going to go down. That is your gyro down now for 100 seconds. The freaking Swindleman. Can MVP kill these two as well with the defense here? They're trying to do their best. KP getting low. The Swindleman is actually turning to take towards him. It's a freak. He's going to go down. Grimgate's not going to save you. Swindleman is getting punched up into the sky, trying to walk this one off. Can't brace there for Fly. Fly blinked away. They tried to save Dragon Knight. I don't know if it's going to be enough. He has got the silver edge. He's caught under the net. Snowball's going to be there. They bring down Swindleman, and now triple kill for Nuts. It's actually Complexity. They're down 4 heroes. And let's have a look at the buyback status. I don't think it's going to be looking good.
Not a single person in the game has buyback, actually.
Oh my god.
I don't know if they can push fast enough, though.
What? I tell you what, I know there's 2 other big games going on at the moment, but if you're not watching this, I think you're missing out. This is great.
This is what we call a scrappy game. Both teams are pretty much just running at each other at this point. They even buy a Deso for the all-in mid-push.
Her Complexity just lost at this point, or they still have a chance?
I don't know if they have enough time, because here's the thing. They have to go through 2 tier 4 towers.
Okay.
Right? If they want to go
they've got a fortification.
Yeah, they have a fort as well.
Yeah.
The one thing they have that's really good for them is they have Naga Siren, so they can actually defend, and she can bot in with bots level 2 at the same time to continue pushing down mid. However, Moon's going to be up in 5. So Moon can actually just backdoor the base, and just him by himself, because of the fact that, again, MVP have to go through the tier 4s. KP can't leave base. If KP leaves base, I think Moon TP's in, and they just lose their throne. Oh, Moon's actually already TP'd. Okay, they're going in.
Okay, I mean, KP, the real KP is back here, yeah. Ready with the defense. Mid lane,
they only have 15 seconds. Oh, they're going to counter Mega. They're not going to go for Megas, yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a game where 2 Mega creeps are going to happen. I don't think I've seen this very often. Oh, the curse! Febby's dead!
Oh, Fly there with the curse. And that is Febby down, and as we're saying, no buyback for you. That is one that we should still get to Megas.
Moon died. Naga Siren killed Moon.
Okay.
They're actually going to TP in and go for the counter Mega.
Oh, now with the song here.
Okay, that was not the song.
There's your Black Hole. Where's your Black Hole? He's refreshed. He's looking for it. Moving in onto QO. The nets come out already. March getting low. Yule's got a QO in place, but now QO bursting down to free. CoL Embrace is going to keep the Enigma alive here. Now, March is going TP with the Snowball onto Fly. Nuts in there as well, but Zizzy's going to try and chase this one down with the MKB. Zafreak looking to find March. He should be able to find it. That is March down. 4 heroes down now on the side of MVP. They don't have buyback. The H is exposed. The Mega Creeps go to work. They didn't manage to claim Megas themselves. And I think this pretty much could be the end of the game. They've got a Naga Siren. What can she do on her own? The buyback is now available and will be used by Lina. Can they really defend against this, Andy? It's going to be quite something.
I mean, they can defend against the creeps, but they're not going to be able to defend against the creeps and Complexity barreling down middle lane.
We've had some insane games. This is... What a way to start the day.
I thought we were going to see double Megas. That would have been awesome. I don't think I've seen that before. At least, like, I've seen it before, but I haven't cast a game with double Megas before.
On the net onto Vendor. Actually going to pop this on. They're just trying to buy some time by the looks of it to allow Shaker at least to get back on the map, which he will be on in a good 4 seconds. So he's going to be there and with the Echo Slam. But
they just hit the base.
Okay, they've got a 4. Oh, KP tries to do what he can. They're trying everything. They're throwing everything out. It's not going to be enough. Zafreak with the GG Black Hole. Complexity take the first game of this series. And wow, what a game. Just from confusing us with that surprise refreshers orb.
I don't know how I missed that actually.
In the courier.
Like,
I'm sure he must have been just building it and never had it on himself in person. Just had it in the base.
Yeah, but I usually check courier, like, at any stage in the game.
It's early morning. It's 9 in the morning.